Welcome to Playwrights Roundtable, a half-hour showcase featuring locally produced one-act plays by the organization bearing the same name, Playwrights Roundtable. And today we're going to watch Silly Mary Chop Chop, a play written by John Goring and directed by Bob Dutton. So sit back and relax, and we're going to come back after we watch Silly Mary Chop Chop.
She's late, of course.
Typical.
Oh, mon Dieu. I am so bored with life in post-revolutionary France.
Perhaps all of us in post-revolutionary France are bored with you.
Oh, fool. How could anyone, possessed of culture and refinement, possibly be bored avec moi?
Mon cher, there is no deceit so complete as self-deceit.
You are clearly jealous of my natural good looks,
Hardly.
my mouth-watering physique,
Try again.
my nimble wit,
Wrong in the extreme.
and my bonhomie, my je ne sais quoi.
Your plethora of caca.
Tell me then, my dear Remy, mon bon ami, who was it that darkened my chambre door last night?
Was it some luckless vagrant, perhaps?
Au contraire, I am joyous to report it was your erstwhile lover, the Marquis du Montcrief.
No!
Oui?
Damn this post-revolutionary France! Can it be the Marquis has sunk so low?
Now tell me you're not jealous.
You're a liar!
Am I? Indeed. You no doubt recognize our dear Marquis's initials. An intimate gift I keep next to my heart. Snuff?
Stick it up your nose!
He's coming over tonight.
Discard you're no friend! Put a pig!
A jug of wine, a loaf of bread, and wow.
You do realize he's only using you?
We both predicted you'd take that tack.
He's merely using you to get at me.
You're delusional.
The Marquis knows all too well that this disgusting charade will only make me drop my defenses and rush back madly into his arms. He's toying with me. He knew you'd spill everything to me like the stupid little fool we all know you are, just to stick it to me. For you see, the Marquis can be monstrously cruel to the one he truly loves. Monstrously cruel. But that compels me to worship him all the more!
Next! Where is that silly thing? Ah! So there she is, at last. Well, out of the water.
Want the why?
I have my poor cuticles to consider.
I don't.
Oh, very well. Unload this bagage on me. Et bonjour, madame.
Bonjour, monsieur.
And what is madame's pleasure today?
Take a little off the neck and sides.
Shampoo?
There is no time.
Pity.
Monsieur, be quick and thorough, s'il vous plaît. Time weighs heavily upon me, and indeed upon all of France, and in fact upon the whole world.
Remy, it seems we have before us a drama queen extraordinaire.
I suggest she save the drama for her mama.
Madame has spent many months in prison.
Giscard, I believe I saw something move. Headlines!
Messieurs, I can assure you your eyes do deceive you. My scalp is untainted.
Unlike your politics, madame.
Oh, dear, hide me if you must. I am blameless. As was my dear husband before me, as were all the rest. Sacrificed to the bloodlust of the common rabble. Manicure, s'il vous plaît.
Somebody's full of themselves.
I speak the truth. And if truth be fatal, then let the world fall. My innocent soul shall stand.
Innocent? Just explain this, madame. What about that diamond necklace affair? You nearly bankrupted the entire navy with that one.
Oh, blame Lurie. He never lacked a comparison shop.
What about when you told that hungry mob to let them eat cake?
What sane person prefers bread to cake? The press blew that way out of proportion.
Well, why wasn't Paris ever good enough for you? Oh, no. You had to be at Versailles all the time, strutting up and down that hall of mirrors. A bit vain, if you ask moi.
Those mirrors were up long before I moved in.
Well, just answer us this, madame. For 8 long years, you and your husband bankrupted France to help Monsieur Washington liberate America. But what of us, madame? What of our liberty?
Equality!
Fraternity!
Take a little more of the neck.
You royals are all alike. Never any thought for the common man.
We are all just cattle, good for being milked for tax revenue.
Moo. Or shedding our blood in your insane imperialistic wars.
Not you, but we are France, madame.
The real France.
Vive la France!
Vive la révolution!
Vive la liberté!
Equality!
Fraternity!
Merci beaucoup. Très bien. Farewell, my beloved France. Adieu.
Listen, Remy, if you really want Moncrief back, feel free. I mean, he has this developing role of belly flabs that's rather off-putting lately.
Frankly, I was tiring of him. Too controlling. Except for the boudoir, he's got an old hat.
How silly of us to quarrel over some boy toy du jour.
Quite right. So silly of us both.
I am glad that our relationship remains unaffected.
Certainement, mon bon ami.
Whoop! Mon Dieu, how I do detest life in this post-revolutionary France.
Not half as much as I.
Off with her head. You have a thing for period pieces, don't you?
I guess I do.
We're going to talk a little bit more about Silly Mary Chop Chop and talk about the directing of this play right after we take a short intermission. Stay tuned.
For 8 long years, you and your husband bankrupted France to help Monsieur Washington liberate America. But what of us, madame? What of our liberty?
Equality! Fraternity!
You've just watched a little clip from Silly Mary Chop Chop, a one-act play produced by John Goring and directed by Bob Dutton. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
John, tell me, what's your inspiration for Silly Mary Chop Chop? Of course, it's
Well,
Marie Antoinette is one.
I guess I was just looking for to juxtapose crazy things next to each other, such as hairdressers who normally have, sort of a routine life. What would it be if they wanted to dress up someone before they get executed? Okay, I don't know how weird that might be, but
It's a good start.
Yeah, right. So I mulled over, well, who would be a good candidate? And then I thought, how about Marie Antoinette, who's got maybe 5 minutes to live, so I did it.
Yes, you did. And Bob, you directed this. And
Correct.
what was it like putting these characters in this position, and what sort of inspiration did you use to create the barbershop, or the beauty salon?
Well, the first thing that happened is I sort of had my choice of 3 plays that I wanted to direct. I was given 3 of the 7, and John's play hit me right. I was like, "That's the one. That's it." And you have to go with your first instinct because there's something about it. My background is really in comedies and in musicals, and this was a comedy that had multiple layers to it.
You no doubt recognize.
So I really appreciated the concept that he came up with, and I thought it would be a lot of fun to take it into a comedy. But the more we played with it, we realized that though there are lots of comic elements to it, there's actually a little message behind it too, and I thought that was very clever. And it's sort of, they say it's sort of like peeling an onion. The more you peel back, you're getting new layers of stuff, and his play just sort of spoke to that.
My innocent soul shall stand.
Innocent! Just explain this, madame. What about that diamond necklace affair? You nearly bankrupted the entire Navy with that one.
Oh, blame Lurie. He never lacked a comparison shop.
What about when you told that hungry mob to let them eat cake?
What sane person prefers bread to cake? The press blew that way out of proportion.
The idea was time period, which was 1793, French court, and so you have hairdressers and people of the court who are very much pompous in their own right, even though they are not the royalty themselves. And so we wanted to make the 2 hairdressers stereotypical of modern time, because the play's a bit anachronistic, which is wonderful because it makes us connect to it today in terms of what they're doing. And so we created, in a sense, a contrast of 2 very gossipy hairdressers, and Marie Antoinette, who is rather somber because she knows it's her time to go. So that's the nature of, comedy, is to create contrast, and so the contrast of two very energetic characters as opposed to one who is very low energy. You've got more room for comedy there.
And there was a piece towards the end, like Bob was saying, that it's kind of sobering. There's a message in there.
Right.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, I wanted to surprise people a little bit. I mean, not that her death would be a surprise, but the fact that she's in an argument over why hasn't she been better to the people, pretty much. And that's supposed to take you away from where we really are emotionally. And then suddenly you realize, oh, it's her time to die. Her hair is done, and instead of luxuriating, she's now going to have her head chopped off. So I want people to maybe think about that a little bit on more than one level.
Now, the first time you were on Playwrights Roundtable, back in '04, you also had a period piece then, too,
Right.
MSG,
Right.
featuring Mozart, Gershwin, Schubert,
Right.
and the little Jamaican lady in the back.
Right.
Genius.
I was dead at 35.
Ah, big deal. I was dead at 31.
Syphilis, I hear.
Shut the hell up! That was Beethoven.
So you have a thing for period pieces, sort of taking those historical characters and putting them in this fictional situation.
Right.
Get some inspiration from that?
Yeah, I kind of enjoy it because, after all, history is full of stories that we can elaborate on, we can revisit. You know, it's kind of fun, really.
And what does the audience take from that? For either one of you can answer that question, because I know you sit there and you watch it maybe once or maybe the whole run and get a feel for their reactions. What were some of the reactions?
Well, I hope they enjoy it, first of all, and I hope the smarter ones, or the more history buffs, sorry,
pick up on it.
would be more inclined to get the jokes.
True.
You know, whereas if you're just not wondering at all about the piece, then you don't get any of the humor involved. So I think I write more to a more history-minded audience.
And when you're dealing with characters that the audience have some familiarity with, they bring their own knowledge and their own attitudes towards those characters into the piece, and so you get to play with that already. That's why sequels are so big, because of the fact that audiences already know the characters, in the sense they know Marie Antoinette, they know let them eat cake. Even if you have 3 sentences of what you know about Marie Antoinette, John has taken that and says, okay, we'll start with that, and then we'll give you a little bit more, and then we're going to toss some fireworks into it. So I think he has done that very effectively.
Now, what's the director-writer relationship like for the two of you for this experience?
Oh, I let Bob totally have his way.
Yeah,
Really.
the play has been done before, so I know that this script was tried and true. So it's like, okay, what can I do with it? And one of the actors was actually has done it before, but played the other hairdresser, and so for him to switch roles was sort of a surprise to him. But I think he really enjoyed the idea of switching it around. I didn't talk to John very much because I knew the play was already done, and therefore it was rather set in stone. One thing I think we did play with, and I have not talked to him about the previous versions, nor have I talked to any of the people who were in previous versions, because I think it's almost irrelevant. When you're dealing with a script for the first time, you don't want to be jaded or guided by somebody else's vision. As a director, as I explain it to students I have, a director has to have the movie in their head and then describe that movie to other people, because you can look in my ear all you want, but you can't see the movie. And so, as a director, I need to sort of see the whole piece and see what it looks like, feels like, what it sounds like, and get the actors on board. And part of that was trying to get the style, because the hairdressers are very much stylized in terms of their acting. It's almost, in a sense, like a restoration comedy, that they're a bit over the top, and the reactions, and we had a little fun with that. I must say, we did add one thing, which were the cream puffs.
Oh, okay.
That was not in there, and so I thought
But it worked.
Yeah, it's French. I thought that or eclairs, but cream puffs work better, and the fact that they can use that sort of as their little comfort. We sit on the couch, we eat our potato chips or whatever, and they have their cream puffs. And I found it effective, particularly toward the end, because when she gets her head chopped off, the fact that they eat some more cream puffs and then go to the next one, it's sort of, I think, is the commentary that, our leaders come and go, and most people don't really care. We don't care who our leaders are. We just want to get on with our gossip. And so it's
And
like,
eat our cream puffs.
yeah. I mean, exactly. It's every beauty parlor. They'll talk about who's president, but a lot of people don't really care. They just want to make sure that they have their Starbucks, and they have their People magazine, and that makes them happy. Presidents, that's not important in their life. And just like Marie Antoinette, if she's gone, okay, next. And I found that theme through it of the word next over and over means like, okay, I can just move on.
Next!
And I thought that was one of the layers of the script that I thought, boy, he started with a bizarre little concept, but he put some beautiful layers into it that.
Why, thank you, sir.
Yeah, well, but that you extract, and sometimes I'm a playwright as well. And sometimes you don't even realize they're there until much later, and you think, wow, that actually works.
Did I write that?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
You blocked that very well too. The next, that was great. John, this was the third time this was done?
Yes, third time.
So as a playwright, do you resist the temptation to go back in and modify your script at all? Do you just leave it alone and let the
I
interpretation
think I can
happen?
leave this one alone and let it be interpreted. And it was interpreted quite well and yet different than the other two.
Farewell, my beloved France.
How has Playwrights Roundtable helped you to get your work out there for people to see in the Central Florida community and give directors an opportunity to do something perhaps in a different format from what they're normally accustomed to? Or
That should be really directed towards John, because this is the only play I've directed for them, and at this.
Okay, well in that case, this is actually a new experience for you. So what was it like?
Sure. Well, a lot of people don't remember this from Playwrights Roundtable, but I actually performed in a staged reading years ago.
Yes, you did.
In
Mark's play.
Mark Minette's play, which was wonderful. And I am a director. I'm actually a school teacher more than anything else. But the direction, I tend to be choosy about what I do, and I don't put myself out there very much. But when the call came for this, it's like, yeah, this is something interesting. And when I read John's play, it's like, oh yeah, I want to get my hands on that, because it's like a toy. Is that you get to play with it and bend it and move it around as Legos is what can I make out of it. And so for me, it's a wonderful opportunity to sort of dip my feet in the toes, or dip my toes in the pool of Playwrights Roundtable. But I think it, wisely so, it's Playwrights Roundtable, not Directors Roundtable, because the play comes first. And even with my own students, I tell them everything is based on the story. And from there, then you can go anywhere. But if you don't have a quality story, it's pointless.
And John?
We just have fun, pretty much. We have a fast track to do our own plays, pretty much. So rather than mail them away, 100 copies of a play, and maybe one or two places pick up with a good word for it, and then eventually it might get produced elsewhere, but we can produce right away. What are we waiting for? So we have, the sky's the limit. We write it, we pretty much put it on a fast track to readings, and then hone it, make changes where needed, and then produce it locally. So
It's a great
we're having fun.
opportunity. Yeah. How many do you produce a year?
Well, I would say about 50.
Wow.
Yeah, we have 4 productions, and usually multi-level, plays during each event. And then each month we have a workshop where we can do 2 or 3 plays each time.
That's great. Well, we definitely enjoy showcasing them. It's always a
thank you.
treat to have you in and talk about the plays too, so it gets your perspective on them as well. So thank you both for coming in and
Thank you.
Pleasure.
talking with me about Silly Mary Chop Chop. It was a wonderful play.
Cream puffs on the house.
Yes, they almost were. They almost were. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Playwrights Roundtable. We hope to see you again soon. Take care. Playwrights Roundtable provides opportunities for authors to have their work read by professional actors. Members of Playwrights Roundtable have seen their works go from cold readings to workshop productions and on to successful full productions. If you love the craft, Playwrights Roundtable is the place. For more information, contact Playwrights Roundtable at 407-788-8468 or check out the website www.prt.org. www.playwrightsroundtable.org.